What's up, folks? This is your boy Pete. This is Bernie.
Yo.
Happy Halloween to everyone out there. We wanted to do something a little special this Halloween, do something a little bit more themed for the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
So we thought, what better way to do it than to go through like your stereotypical neighborhood. There's all the different houses, the kinds of people you live around, and you kind of know who's where. If you go trick-or-treating enough, it's more for like kids. But you know, you guys get it, right? Go to this house, this guy's got the king-size candy bars and so on. So we decided like which player would be which kind of house, right? So we went through, we made a little list. So let's start it off, Bernie. Which one would you like to intro first?
I mean, the first one we got to start off, of course, is the King's Ransom house. This is the house that gives out the biggest candy bars in the neighborhood. I mean, we've all had that experience when we were younger where we'd go to this house and be like, that's the one I want.
And then you're calling up all your friends to go check it out. I mean, and then you're getting in different costumes to go back.
I mean, you're doing everything you can to get at least 2 or 3 of those candy bars. So, Peter, who is the King's Ransom house?
It's got to be LeBron.
It's got to be LeBron.
It's got to be LeBron for the mere fact that he gets people big contracts, his equivalent of giving out candy bars, right? And on top of that, if you want to go make a playoff, get your playoff experience up, go to the finals, LeBron is your guy. Handing them out like treats.
Definitely. I mean, LeBron is doing everything he can to get to those king-size candy bars. I mean, Tristan Thompson obviously got probably one of the biggest ones. So
J.R. Smith too.
J.R. Smith.
They got big Halloween treats for themselves. Next guy, everyone knows that one house where you go up and like you knock on the door and the guy comes out like in his underwear or some shit, and it's terrifying, right? You think you're going to die. And we kind of figured it might be Kawhi Leonard for this one.
It's Kawhi Leonard just simply for the fact of his laugh. His laugh is just very weird, is very creepy. If you were going with this guy anywhere and he just started laughing out in public, you'd be a little worried about what he's going to do. I
mean, could you imagine just like you knock on the door, opens it, right? It's got the little chain, like a hotel room. Kawhi's face peeks around and just starts laughing. That laugh, it would be horrifying. That's the next Halloween movie, is Kawhi Leonard's story. Next one, Bernie. Let's go to the next one.
The next one is, of course, the house that everyone eggs because they were upset with the candy that they got. They upset because they only gave him maybe the one piece of butterscotch or just one piece of a musketeer bar. I mean, it was just... But it's like not even like the regular size. It's like, the little tiny one.
Just everyone knows. The house, like, those people, you have to egg it or like put toilet paper on their tree or whatever, Yeah. Who is it, Bernie?
I think it's got to be Chris Paul. I mean, there's recent rumors and reports that a lot of teammates of Chris Paul's have come out and said that he's a bad teammate. And so I think this is a perfect example, and Rondo's called him not a good guy. So he's a house that a lot of people, former teammates I should say, who would go over to his house and probably egg it.
You might egg it. I think a close second for this one is Blake Griffin.
Yeah.
You might want to egg Blake Griffin's house too. Next house, though, we're going to talk. This is the house that gives the apples, raisins, toothbrushes. I've always had this suspicion that people that do that, like, they know that nobody wants that. Like, they're trolling.
Yeah.
And the perfect person who fits the bill has got to be Joel Embiid.
Yeah, I mean, Joel Embiid, the guy that trolls on social media, he trolls online. He also trolls in the court as well. I mean, Andre Drummond, they had their little beef and spat. So this is the perfect example of how Joel Embiid is the perfect troll, and I feel like he would give out toothbrushes, raisins, and the apples. I mean, it's obvious.
He would. He would think it was the funniest thing he's ever done, too. I mean, Giannis is kind of close on this one, too. He's kind of a little jokester.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of a jokester.
But it's Joel.
But it's Joel. He's the biggest one online.
Yeah,
so
he's the troll of the year. Next one, Bernie.
This one is what we call the help yourself house. This is the one that just leaves the bucket out there and says, you know what, take as much candy as you want to take. It says please take one, but we all know that they're going to take more than that. And that's got to be Paul George.
Gotta be. Let's Russell Westbrook do whatever he wants. If Russell Westbrook wanted to live in Paul George's house, I'm sure Paul George would let him. This kind of fits the bill. I
mean, this is a guy that obviously doesn't want to take leadership, doesn't want to take charge, is not really a confrontational guy. So, if he opens the door, he doesn't really want to interact with people. So he's just leaves the bucket out there, lets them take their candy, and goes about their day.
Yes, definitely. All right, the Halloween fanatic is the next one. This is that guy who is in a crazy elaborate costume when he answers the door. Like, they have all the decorations out front. This one was a little tough, but we think it's Kyrie. Really.
Yeah.
Like, I'm honestly a little surprised he didn't play the first game of this season or a preseason game in the Uncle Drew costume. I kind of thought he was going to. For whatever reason, I saw that ad so many times. I never even saw the movie, which I should. Did you ever watch it?
No, I haven't watched it yet. We probably have to watch that.
But, like, I saw that ad so many times that I just started to see Kyrie, and I'd see that old man's face. So, I mean, he'd probably be in costume as his Uncle Drew character.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the fan that was in the crowd. He actually got Kyrie's tennis shoes, the guy that dressed up, or it was a kid that dressed up as Uncle Drew.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, Kyrie Irving has brought this Uncle Drew hype to
his character to life.
And so I think a lot of people this Halloween, you probably will see dressed up as Uncle Drew. And I think because of that, we are calling him the Halloween fanatic.
That's our pick. Next one, Bernie.
The next one, of course, is the Halloween Scrooge. This is the one that probably doesn't celebrate Halloween, is too focused on his career.
Yes.
And this one obviously fits the build of someone who's had a lot of media hype and also a lot of controversies, and that's, of course, Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
This one is just obvious for a numerous amount of reasons, but the fact that we talked about where he just goes after Karl Anthony Towns, who's just trying to have fun, Andrew Wiggins, which we all know is trash, but he's always going after them, and I feel like is a guy that would be a no days off type of guy and
yelling at people.
Will not celebrate Halloween.
I think the thing too is like I could totally imagine a small child like knocking on Jimmy Butler's door. He hands them like one single piece of candy, and they're like, "That's it," and he just starts, "You need me!" You know, he's just screaming in their face. Like,
yeah.
I could see Jimmy doing that. House with the boring candy, and we kind of like imagine like who's the guy who gives his Smarties out.
Smarties or those wafers, Nesco wafers.
Yeah, just the chalk candy, whatever it is, right? And I think to Bernie's not agreement necessarily, I think it's Al Horford.
I mean, it would be Tim Duncan if he was still playing, obviously, but I think Al Horford's the second coming of Tim Duncan in terms of personality-wise.
Yeah.
And it's not a bad thing. It's just
his play style.
Just play style and the way that he carries himself.
Because he's going to give you the candy, right? And
yeah.
we're not even saying he's not going to give you like a few pieces of candy. But it's just like...
It's not the exciting candy that all the kids want. It's not the peanut butter cups. It's not the M&Ms. It's just...
king-size Snickers, any of it. He's just giving you Smarties.
Smarties.
Or the little butterscotch candies, too. That's kind of boring, too. Next one, Bernie.
The next house, of course, is the one that used to give out probably the best candy. Everyone was hyped. Everyone was excited to go to that house. But recently in times, they've kind of cut back a little bit to where they're not giving out candy as much anymore. And I think we...
Stopped mowing their lawn.
Yeah, just kind of didn't really take care of the house anymore, got a little bit older. And I think we went with Carmelo Anthony on this one.
Yes.
And he's still a great guy, still, awesome. But at the same time, he's just not giving you the candy that you were once used to.
Yeah, he's kind of just, let's just call him the washed up house. That's basically Carmelo in a nutshell right now. Next house is going to be the bougie house. All right, this is, you go there, you knock on the door, and they give you like the Lindor truffles. They give you something just ridiculous you don't even need. I'm looking for a Reese's peanut butter cup, and you just handed me a gold piece of chocolate, like gold flake on it. This is Russell Westbrook's house.
Yeah, I mean, Russell Westbrook makes the obvious choice because of his eccentric stuff that he wears, his outfits, the way that he plays on the court. It's very exciting, but it's not necessary in some aspects of it. But
he might just give you like a scarf too.
Yeah.
Or like a shirt with like a big V cut out just in the center. I'll never forget that shirt. Next house, Bernie.
This is the house that's too busy partying. It's kind of like a college house, I would say.
The frat Halloween party.
The frat Halloween party house. And I think this is the Golden State Warriors, just because they're celebrating their championships. They've now added Boogie Cousins. I mean, they're too busy listening to the Fergie remix of the national anthem. So that's basically what we came down to.
They are living their best lives. Also in contention to be the house where they're all dressed up as each other. Could be alternate house. And then the last but not least, this is going to be the new neighbors, like the corner house on the street where the old people just moved out to the retirement home. New people come in, but they want to make a splash on the scene, right? And this is going to be a couple roommates are living in this house. We got Giannis and Anthony Davis in this house together.
Yeah, I mean, this one makes obvious sense just because Anthony Davis and Giannis are trying to get into that MVP caliber, trying to compete with the King's Ransom house. We all know that there's always that one house that's trying to compete with that house. So those two guys are trying to compete with LeBron James to get that MVP award and really carry their team to the playoffs and hopefully make a deep playoff run. That's what we have for our newcomers around the block.
Yeah, so tell us what you think of our assembled neighborhood we've put up. If there's ones you think are a little bit more accurate than others. If not, let us know. Other houses that you even can think of. We tried to think of them all, but that's what we came up with. Anyway, happy Halloween. I'm Pete. That's Bernie. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Peace!
Peace.